Hey everyone, thanks for joining again. This is Mark from Avoma. We're on the Modern SaaS podcast, and we are joined today from Naquiyah, who is an amazing CS Ops leader. First, if you could just give us a quick intro to yourself, the company that you work for, and your role.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. My name is Naquiyah Cash. I work for a company called Zywave. It's an insurance industry. And I am hired as a Gainsight admin, but also CS Ops consultant.
Awesome. No, that is great. So the first thing that I really wanted to discuss is what problem have you been trying to solve recently? Walk us through a pain point that you've had within your organization and how you're solving it.
Great, definitely. I think a lot of organizations, because right now we're at the Gainsight Pulse. Gainsight's an awesome software that's out there and is selling very well. A lot of companies don't exactly know how to implement and expand on it. So what they're doing is hiring Gainsight admins. And they're focusing on that system part of thing, which is great. But then you also need to understand that it's not just somebody implementing it. It's also a big, massive team where you're thinking about enablement, process, strategy, content creation, and then even rolling this out and project managing it. Then you have the Gainsight admin as well.
Yep.
So a lot of that's expectations coming out of all of these. And one of my goals with the company I'm working for right now, which is helping me tremendously right now, to understand how can we help this one man band or one woman band to ensure that she's not wearing all the hats. And that's what I'm actually trying to learn from this conference and then take it back as well to the team, the company, because they're helping me and I also want to help them.
Yep. Oh, that's great. And it's a good way to think about it too. You know, the one woman band. You don't want to be that band that has a hat on and cymbals on, and you're doing all these things. The music on that does not come out great. So that's a good analogy. Tell me a little bit then more about as you're thinking about building out a CS ops team. There's a lot of debate around where should that sit. Should that sit within CS? Should that sit within RevOps? Should that sit within overall ops? What are your thoughts on that, and any kind of suggestions for everyone out there?
That's actually a really good question, Mark. So I currently at my company am under RevOps. You would think it would be CS Ops because everywhere you go, people say CS Ops. Have you ever heard anything about RevOps here? There isn't that question. Working at my company now a little longer, I've noticed that when you think about what RevOps does, is it's a team of really intelligent system people, but also enablement team as well. They have other departments within the RevOps. So we're called, under RevOps, you have RevTech. So we're under systems. So if you have a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot, you'd have a team for that. If you have a system like Gainsight, you'd have a team for that. If you have a system like Avoma, things like that, you'd have a team for that to ensure the implementation is done correctly.
Yep.
But then within RevOps, they also have that branch of enablement, so you can kind of cross work. So enablement doesn't have to just do Gainsight; it does Gainsight and Salesforce and any other systems that you have in your company.
Yep.
Looking at that structure, I think I feel now that yes, it should still be in a RevOps arm, and then the CS Ops or CS team partners with RevOps.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's good to hear. And I think you're right in a lot of ways, that extra just synergy that you can get with collaborating with other people, because you don't live in a silo. If you're handling Gainsight, that application does not live on its own. It's talking to Salesforce, it's talking to all these other tools, and the needs of the key person that's administering Salesforce are going to be very similar to yours. So having that under one umbrella where there's a tight collaboration, I think does kind of position you in the right way.
Yeah, and exactly what you said there. And the other thing is, if you think about CS, they have so much on their plate already where they're learning the company's products that I think CS should really still focus on that, whereas we're helping CS. But here's the other thing. What I've noticed from this event at Gainsight this year anyway, is it's not just about CS. We were talking about PX as well, right? So we're talking about product teams.
Right.
How do we then go from CS to helping products? How do we help the sales team? How do sales teams talk to the CS more? So then onboarding from sales all the way to onboarding to adoption is a more clear process and a journey for the customer. And then marketing from surveys. Hey, you did great.
Yep.
Do you want to write something for us? Things like that. It's
Oh, yeah.
whole industry. So in that way, I'm going back to my point. I think RevOps would be a good place for this conversation or this
Awesome.
team to sit in.
Perfect. And then that brings me to the last question. You've been here for a day and a half. What have you got so far out of this conference that you're going to take back and start to implement when you get back home?
This time around, my one focus was building that team. And when I first came in here, I didn't know if it should be under RevOps or under CS Ops, or where should we really build this with the help of my company. A really good suggestion from, I can't remember the last name, was Jessica. She had a playbook for CS Ops, and she mentioned a few things. And one was talking about, why don't we take people from different departments? So for example, if you have a CS team, take a CSM per segment or persona or portfolio, have them be an advocate, right, and a champion, and then they can then help their peers work towards the goal that they have there. If I want to then talk about, that's a good adoption part for CS and adoption with Gainsight. The second part is talk about product, health scorecards. Products should know their product and what is a good or bad health. Maybe partner with someone in product. They don't have to be part of your team. You don't build a team just for that, but you partner with them and say, how can we now define this? Same with enablement. Have somebody enablement and take them through, Gainsight training and work with them and have those meetings with them. And obviously from a strategy perspective, you have the VP of CS and the CCO of the company. And that's already their role. So that's one of the things I'm going to definitely take back and build my team. Not saying we're going to hire these people, but let's take what we have in the organization and then implement that. And then you never know. Some of them might just say, we want to come into CS Ops and work with you. So that would be a good learning for them as well. Why take someone from outside when you can actually build it inside the same company?
Yeah, no, I love that. That is a great insight, and good luck with that.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate the insights.